From deep in the heart of Beverly Hills, you found For Love and Chocolate with Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
Oh, it's good to be back in the studio.
Welcome back, everybody. Love is in the air, Mrs. Truffles.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Welcome back to season 2 of For Love and Chocolate.
Yeah, we hope everyone had an incredible summer. We had just the most delightful, delicious summer, didn't we?
Oh, we did, and we had adventures in mobile podcasting.
We did.
That was kind of hit or miss.
I don't know if anyone was able to listen to Postcards from the Road, but the adventures were recorded for your listening enjoyment.
It was fun, and it was fun to do.
Yeah, it was.
Kind of a little experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's really great to one of my favorite parts about doing the Postcards from the Road was actually taking a moment to reflect every few days of our journey.
Yeah.
On our journey.
Yes.
It was kind of
in real
cool.
time. That's right. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, it was quite a journey.
It was
and
great.
It was very romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, August is a romantic month for us too, because that is the month we got married. We celebrated 4 years.
That's right. Yeah.
And we did get to visit our friend who married us on our trip.
Yes, in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Touchdown Jesus.
Our good friend Devin, who got ordained.
Yeah.
And it's a very special day for us, August 8th.
It is.
And it falls the day before a very special day in your family.
Yeah, that would have been my mom and dad's anniversary on August 9th. And this past August 9th would have been 65 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I just love the stories about how sweet and romantic they were.
Oh, yeah. They loved each other deeply. I mean, from the moment they met, Dad took care of her. They were known as Papa and Susu to their 9 grandchildren. And, man, they loved each other. And it's just like a river of love coming down to their kids. We just felt it like every day. You know, he honored her so much, and she just adored him, you know, with every sandwich that she made, with every hug, with every kiss. You know, they took these beautiful trips to Europe together. They had date night. He was bringing her flowers. He was always thinking about her. And, you know, both of their faces and their eyes would just light up when they saw each other, even if they'd just been away from each other for an hour.
Oh, well, Mr. Truffles.
Yes.
I think you know what time it is.
Is it time?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. Sentimental, sentimental, I'm going on a sentimental journey.
Well, there's a beautiful letter on the Gallup family thread that one of your sisters recently shared.
Yeah, she did. This was a letter that my mother wrote about her love affair with my dad, who they were about to celebrate their 50th anniversary. Sadly, she was in hospice, and she wrote this letter about a week and a half before she passed away. And she wrote it to all of her grandchildren. And it's called Susu and Papa's 50th Anniversary Love Story. And it goes something like this. Sometimes love sneaks up on you, and other times it hits you over the head like a ton of bricks. For me and your papa, it was like drinking a big cup of hot chocolate overflowing with whipped cream and marshmallows on a cold winter night. Some things feel wrong. This just felt right. He was tall and handsome, and I must say I wasn't so bad looking myself. What was evident from the start was that we were a perfect fit. From our sense of humor to our views on family, education, and the world, he had me at hello. Kids, your papa was a hunk. What started as a simple date turned into a beautiful quilt of life, with various patterns representing all that life has brought to us, from our wedding on August 9th, 1959, to the birth of our children, your parents, to summer vacations and college trips, all the way to their weddings and the births of all of you. Today represents those 50 years and the life that we created together. Each story has created a new chapter and the ultimate book reads like a fairy tale. When you've had love in your life and you're surrounded by love, that's a happy ending. Each one of you is so special. Papa and I love all of you and hope that you all find the love that we found and shared for all of these years. With all our love, Susu and Papa.
Oh.
That was easy.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I've never read that out loud. But I feel all the feels. You know,
Yeah.
Their love is just coming through so strong. You know, and their, the way they met was kind of a chance meeting on the campus of Washington University in St. Louis. And my mom was wearing just like big Hollywood-style sunglasses. And my dad looked at his buddy and saw her and said, "Who's Greta Garbo over there?"
We asked your sister Betsy what she knew about their first date, and she said there was a new Frank Sinatra album out and that they danced to it on their first date.
Yeah. And so I think in honor of them and their love, I think I'd like to lay down a little Sinatra for them.
Ah, well, this is for you, Papa and Susu.
Yeah, guys, this is for you. Why do I do just as you say? Why must I just give you your way? Why do I sigh? Why don't I try to forget? It must have been that something lovers call fate kept me saying I have to wait. I saw them all, just couldn't fall till we met. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who make me be true and make me be blue and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do for nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. Nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, one wonderful you. It had to be you.
So sweet, so romantic.
Yeah, Sinatra really, he knows how to sing a song, doesn't he?
Yeah, your parents fell in love listening to Sinatra. It's so sweet.
It really is.
Well, we have an amazing sweet couple coming on today, also just very passionate for each other and very romantic.
And very accomplished, these two.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, in their own fields, they have hit the highest highs, you know, and without further ado, it's Gary Janetti and Brad Goreski. And if you don't know them, you will. Gary Janetti is the best-selling author of Do You Mind If I Cancel?, Start Without Me, and, of course, the one that we're going to be talking about, We Are Experiencing a Slight Delay. He's a writer and producer of Family Guy, Will and Grace Vicious, and The Prince. And Brad Goreski, his husband, is a Canadian-American celebrity fashion stylist and television personality. In 2015, he joined Fashion Police as a co-host, and since 2021, he has been one of the regular judges on Canada's Drag Race. And we could not be more excited to sit down with them and hear their love story, which we will do when we come back on For Love and Chocolate. For over 40 years, Toysher has been a staple in the Beverly Hills community. Like so many other families in the community, our family has had a long-standing love affair with Toysher chocolates. Over the years, we've formed traditions and memories around these extraordinary Swiss chocolates and the enchanting wonderland of fantasy truffle boxes inside our store. Today, our family is proud to be carrying on the Toysher tradition in Beverly Hills.
Okay, well, welcome back.
Yes, welcome back.
We are here with Gary and Brad.
We're giddy. We're giddy. I don't know if it's because, you know, we've read Gary's book and it's so funny. It's so fantastic. But I'm kind of fanboying out a little bit. I'm a little bit excited to have these guys on our show. And, you know, by virtue of their smiles, I think they're excited to be here. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome,
Thank you. We're happy
Thanks
to
for
be
having
here.
us, guys.
And if I may, I mean, Gary and I have actually known each other
Yes.
for the better part of 25 years.
Yeah.
Although I don't know we've spoken much until recently.
No, we haven't.
Right?
At all, since Will and Grace ended over 18 years
Oh
ago.
my
or
God, isn't
something.
that crazy?
Yeah.
But welcome to the show, guys. So we're gonna just launch into what is the love that is.
We've never done a podcast like this before, have we,
That's-
Brad?
No. Okay.
Well, I'm so glad you're here doing this one with us today. And so let's get right to it. How did you two first meet for the very first time?
Well, yeah, it's so funny because I literally just wrote a book. We are experiencing a slight delay, and it's just July 9th out. And in it, for the very first time, I actually talk about how we met.
And the book comes out on July 9th, and on July 2nd, we celebrate 23 years
Yeah,
together.
23 years
Wow.
together. When I started to write the book, which is ostensibly about travel, I didn't know it was so much of it actually was, to me, the book is about, you know, my relationship with Brad is the spine of it. It is. And I never intended. It wasn't like, this is what I'm going to write about. I just tried to be thoughtful and honest. I just try to be honest. You know, I'm like, or else what's the point in doing something? If you're just glib all the time, you know, you don't really, you know, you're keeping a wall up between yourself and people. So I had no intention of writing a book. My relationship with Brad was going to be so much a part of. It kind of just happened, and I didn't really even know it until I was done with it. I was like, this
amazing.
book
It's a love-
is basically
it's a love story. That's right.
I've never written it, you know, it's funny, I'll say it here because I thought it since, but I've never written a love letter to Brad until this book. And I was like,
That's so good.
So
I was away working with a client, and Gary finally gave me, I'm only allowed to read or know anything about the books when they're in, like, basically their final
it's done.
form.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't tell me
Okay.
really anything
no,
about
I
it.
don't like anybody to read it as I go.
So I finished the book. I was perfectly poolside at the Hotel du Cap, which is very us. And
yeah,
I finished the book there. I was sitting there thinking, how many people get to experience their partner who they love a lot lot, who is a brilliant writer, to write a love story about them, to tell their story to the world. It really hit me like hard. Like, wow. I said to my client who I was with, this is the love story to me that my husband is sharing through his brilliant eyes and through his words about us. And I was like, how crazy is that? That is something that's so like, who gets to experience that
Not
in their
too many
lifetime?
people.
No.
And I communicated this to him. I was like, it's so beautiful to experience how you see me through your words. I hope people will read the book and love it, because it just struck me in like such a deep place where I was.
Actually, as I was writing it, I was talking to Brad in the other room because I was forgetting certain details of it, or because we never really kind of picked it apart, like, what's your memory of this versus my memory of it? And then I kind of wrote it exactly like that when I wrote it. So that, I wrote the book about how we met. So why don't you, Brad, your words of how we met?
Well, we met in Mykonos.
So romantic.
I know.
In 2001, I was there on a weekend trip. I was living in Athens for a summer, trying to get work as a model. A guy I had met on the airplane who was Greek and spoke Greek, who helped me make my way through the Greek airport. He and I stayed in touch and hung out in Athens, and he was like, let's go to Mykonos for the weekend. And I was like, okay. And on my last night there, like literally the last hours before I was supposed to go back to Athens to continue not getting any modeling jobs, I was walking down a street in Mykonos. I was walking through Nikos Taverna, and Gary was sitting there with his friend Sal. The Nikos Taverna is still there, and the seating's still exactly the same, but there are like two raised tables that you can sit at.
Yeah, well, you're kind of above the street just a little bit, and it's so busy in the summer, and it was on a busy passageway, so thousands of people are going by.
I was walking down that path, and my friend had met Sal on the beach, I guess a few days before, and they recognized each other and said hello. I didn't know that he knew him, and I was just kind of standing back, and I wasn't scrolling on my phone because there were no phones, so I was just like kind of looking around. Gary offered me a bite of his dessert. I believe I declined.
Yeah.
What
okay.
was the dessert? Do you remember?
Probably something sticky because it was grease, right?
It was chocolate.
Oh, it was chocolate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he started telling me about his nieces visiting. And then he started talking about Destiny's Child, because Survivor was a big song that summer. He asked me what I was doing in Greece, and I told him I was there modeling, of course, because that would just be like the ultimate way to snag a guy. And then the next thing I knew, we were at a dance club dancing on the dance floor and making out.
Clocked him before he clocked me, because I saw him
So there
coming
was
down the
immediate
street.
magic
Yeah,
when
when
you
I
two
saw,
met.
as soon as I saw him, and it was literally, I've said this before, but it's true, hundreds of people going by, and my eye caught Brad instantly. And I said to my friend, who's that? I want to meet him. And he said, weirdly, I was talking with the guy he's walking with earlier today. Wow. So that was happening on my side. Before we knew it, they were walking by the table, and Sal said, those two said hello to each other, and I was left with Brad, and I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Yeah.
Do you want some dessert?
Yeah, and I guess I offered him dessert. He was a little standoffish at first, and I was like, oh, this guy's trying to be, too cool for school a little bit, because I was being super friendly.
23.
Yeah. In about 2 minutes, he
23.
dropped that complete facade, because he's Canadian, so they can only keep that up so long, because they're all genuinely nice people. And he became his authentic self, like, so quickly. It was very disarming. Like, it was almost like you realized quickly you could trust me, and I'm going to be myself.
Let down his armor immediately.
Yeah, immediately. Yeah, it's not a big armor, but
So
of
can
course.
you paint Mykonos? This is 2001?
Yes, 2001.
Paint Mykonos,
Oh, it was
summer
heaven.
2001. Was it like the epicenter of everything fabulous in
Kind
Europe?
of, yeah, gay
The big note is there were no phones and no iPads. So everybody that was on the
Yeah, it
island.
was present.
You had
You're
to-
kind of
Yes.
present. It's also not. It's not a big druggy island like Ibiza. Like
Right.
people aren't like so.
Yeah.
People aren't so fucked up that you
Just
can't
not that
connect
word.
with people. So people kind of drink a little, but it's not like people are dancing for 48 hours and on drugs, and
Right.
it almost has a charming kind of old. Don't you think it's more of a charming kind of an old school kind of way? It was local bars.
I
You'd go out
can't
and get
speak to it because I'm sober, so I don't really know
Yeah,
what
well,
people are doing.
yeah.
but, I
Were
mean,
you sober then as well?
yeah,
He
I
was.
freshly
Wow.
sober.
I didn't know.
Mykonos,
Yeah,
summer,
and I didn't know he was
sober.
freshly sober
For like 3 months.
because he
Wow.
didn't tell me.
He didn't tell you.
No, I mean there was no reason to tell
Right.
me at the time, but I didn't know. He said he didn't drink, and I didn't really think think, I was like, okay, he wasn't a big deal. It still is a place where it felt kind of small town. There are only a couple of bars. After you're there for 2 days, you recognize all the same faces. People are friendlier. And it has this charming kind of sexy vibe of...
But it was also like everybody there it was almost like a summer camp kind of feeling.
Like totally gay summer camp.
It was like a summer camp feeling, but like I remember being out dancing at Piero's, which no longer exists, but was kind of like the heartbeat of nightlife on the island. I was on the dance floor like dancing with Alexander McQueen, and like Jean-Paul Gaultier was there, and like, you know, it was like,
was the epicenter.
As somebody who loved fashion, I was, oh my God, I can't believe these people are here in real life.
Like the Studio 54 of the new millennium.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And everything was on. Everybody was on the same schedule of like what time you woke up, what time you got to the beach, then you watch sunset, then you like unwind, then you go to dinner, then everybody goes to Piero. So it was like this movement of people constantly, the same
through the day.
People through the day. It was
kind of movement,
and
it
it's
was
so beautiful there.
Yeah, and it's perfect, and you're so far from everything, and so it kind of feels idyllic and very summer romancy.
I've never been to Europe before by my own.
That was your first trip in Europe.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
right. You didn't know that you would fall madly in love.
Well, the funny thing is, I had this friend, Esther, who was from London. We got lost all the time going to model castings, and we just decided that we would have fun together. I remember leaving for Mykonos, and I was like, I have a really weird feeling I'm going to meet the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
You told her that.
You knew you felt
And so when I ended up meeting him, and then what happened after is we met and we spent the night together. I woke up the next morning and he was like, go get your stuff and just come and stay with me. And I was like, okay. So I like rolled my gigantic suitcase over to his hotel.
I was like, ew.
And
what's all this?
I literally brought everything I owned with
baggage.
me. Yeah, literally my baggage. So we ended up spending 3 more days in Mykonos together.
I think about 4 days.
And then we went to Santorini after.
We got to know each other.
So when I finally went back to the modeling hotel that I was staying at, I remember Esther coming running out, and she was like, you met him, didn't you? And I was like, I did. She was like, ah. Everybody was so happy for me. I had literally disappeared for a week. Like the modeling agency couldn't get a hold of me because I didn't have a cell phone.
I was like, don't go back, just stay with me, and we'll travel together. And then I went back to LA, and Brad stayed in Greece, and we made plans. We were going to see each other later in the summer. We emailed each other, and we both kind of missed each other. And I came home, I believe, on a Sunday. You flew out that Thursday.
We're also talking on the phone too.
Yeah, and I was like, do you want to come to? So we were apart 5 days after the trip, and then he flew to LA. I thought it was a summer romance. We decided to just take it one day at a time and see where it went.
Were you already living in LA, Brad?
No, he lived in Canada. He'd never been to LA before. And I had just moved into a house that was going to be my bachelor pad. I'm 11 years older than Brad, so I was at a very different place in my life than he was at the time. So
we usually say 10. I like that you said 11.
Thank you. I gave up. After 20-something years, I'm giving you that year back, Brad. That's like a gift I'm giving you. I always say 10, but it is 11.
5 days you were together.
Yeah.
When you went away.
We spent a week together, basically.
Were you always thinking about each other?
I was thinking about him more than I'd ever thought about anybody in my life before. It wasn't an obsession.
But it was real.
But it was
and
real.
It was something that you wanted to explore.
Correct.
When did you first know that you were in love?
You remember. It was the night of that party.
Yeah.
You told me
I know.
After the party.
I did, but it was the first time I said it. We had a party at our house. Well, it was my house at the time because you'd only been there a few weeks. And
I had my gigantic suitcase there.
And he didn't know anybody in
all
LA.
that stuff.
And I invited all my, I had a big party. And it was kind of like, meet Brad. It was really a super, super fun party. After the party, I told him, I remember I said, I think I'm falling in love with you. But even though I knew I was in love with him. And then the truth is, I knew in the trip in Greece.
You did know right away.
I'm going to say, I'm even going to go further back. I knew the first night.
Wow.
I didn't know, but now I know.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have articulated that because that's insane. So obviously it becomes deeper and stuff. But there was love there.
Yeah.
The first night.
We hear a lot in these interviews from people who just strangely, like, these are people married 20, 30 years, how they just knew,
Yeah.
immediately.
I knew, can I tell you though, I knew when I saw him.
Wow.
I never felt that way
Goose,
before.
I have
I
total
did. When I
goosebumps.
saw him, I was drawn to him out of everybody. I honed right in on him.
You threw the party.
I had a party and it was like...
It was definitely like a mix and mingle for me to kind of see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Which was fine. Like it was a gorgeous party. And we had so
which
much
is
fun.
weird because I know it's so much fun and I hate throwing parties. Like we haven't had one in so many years.
So from
but that
the
was
point,
a really goodie.
So you said, I love you that night.
I did. I said, I think I'm falling in love with you. you. I know that's exactly what I said. And
wow.
he said,
And how did you respond to that?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were all in already. You
Yeah, I
knew,
was.
yeah.
But I think youth is also part of it, and
Yes,
just everything
I
being.
agree.
My whole life changed so quickly once I got on that plane. Just internally about. I remember I was also just thinking about I used to work at a Greek restaurant, and I was always fixated on going to Greece. Like, it was a big dream of mine. So, like, to achieve for myself getting a plane ticket, having like a place to go, and then maybe having job opportunities, seeing this place I'd only dreamed of going, it was like everything just felt possible.
Yeah.
I believe that my purpose for being there that summer was to meet him. I just do. Like, I didn't get one modeling job. I was not the look that they were looking for at all that summer.
should've.
And it was fine because I was having fun with Esther, and I was bunking with this lovely guy, Fernando, from Portugal, who didn't really speak any
Gorgeous.
English. So I was teaching him English. I was newly sober. I had honestly just gotten out of a relationship. It was actually probably like November of 2000. And then we tried to get back together in April of 2001, and it was a disaster. I was just so ready for newness everywhere. Getting away from my surroundings was so therapeutic for me. I've been sober ever since as well. I celebrated 23 years on May 3rd. I remember getting off of the plane in Athens, having not traveled to Europe before or been anywhere on my own, and being like, I will not take a drink or a drug on this trip ever. Just won't do it. And then when I met him, I feel the same way. I kind of knew on the first night. And we talk about this still. Him being in LA, me being in Canada, us meeting together on my last night in Mykonos.
Right.
Literally
And it shouldn't have
star-crossed.
worked. And everything
Yeah,
about it
that's
shouldn't have
also
worked.
true.
Thing. I mean, look, we were in completely different places in our life. You were definitely somebody that shouldn't have been going into, one would think on paper, shouldn't be going into a real relationship. Again, you should have been taking time, finding myself, the age you're at, where you are in your sobriety, having just come out of a relationship. I was 11 years older, was working as a writer in LA, living in LA. We'd lived in separate countries, and I didn't want somebody whose whole life necessarily was going to be a part of my life. I wanted somebody with an independent career and a life, and so it felt like it completely shouldn't have worked.
Well, there
Think,
were so
this
many things
doesn't-
stacked against us.
Yeah, and the fact that
was
I even
tough.
went to Mykonos also was super random, because usually, as you know, Tommy, in that time of year in the summer is usually when you go back to work. Our hiatuses are typically in the spring. So July, I had always been working. I'd never been off in July, but I was working on a pilot where they hadn't made a decision on it yet. So I had a meeting, I think like July 10th or something like that, and I ended up with like 2 weeks off between it. So, and I was like, I'm not going to just sit home waiting for this
that's
thing.
when you
I'm
went?
going to go to Greece. I'm going to say it was as late as 2 days before we left. I called my friend Sal, and I was like, Sal, do you want to go to Greece with me on Saturday? Because we had gone together after college, and I hadn't been back since. The funny thing was, when I went then, when I was like 22, I thought something, exciting would happen, and nothing did, because, so this was so last minute. So people couldn't track you on Instagram or text you, where are you? So you really could disappear.
Yeah.
You tell a few people, right? I'm gone until this date. I'll see you then. And then everybody else, they don't even know you were there. So you also could have an experience, unlike Instagram, where people are so fixated on letting everybody know where they are. It's kind of the opposite of what it was, right? You would go to escape and have a whole new life. I can be somebody else. I can have this experience. And that's what's so wonderful about that time was, but I shouldn't have been there. It was completely last minute and random that I would have been there. So there's even more randomness to us meeting, compounded by the fact that we shouldn't have worked together certainly at that time in our lives. It's almost stranger to me now looking back on it.
Well, certainly you weren't going thinking, I'm going to find my soulmate. It's 2 weeks, I'm going to find him. 2 week escape.
Not even 2 weeks. I was gone for, it was like 9 days.
I was supposed to be. Yeah, it was fun. I had met these two lovely women on the beach at a beach club with my friend Tony, who was the guy that Gary's friend Sal knew from the beach. She ended up traveling with us. Her name was Vasula. She was so great and always topless. She was also just like so earthy and just wonderful, and so excited watching this unfold with us. We had such a nice time with her. Like, there was such a nice cast of characters around us.
Yeah, it was really that we kind of...
Then coming here and falling in love, I was like, how do we maintain this? How does this continue? How do we...
So how long before you made the decision to immigrate?
I mean, it was pretty soon after. We called my family when I first got to LA, and my poor mom, had just really been through it with me, with my using and my drinking. And so calling her from LA and being like, hey mom, I'm in LA. And she was like, why are you in LA? And I was like, I've met someone. I heard her physically gasp like she was kind of like passing out almost. My sister came down to visit just to make sure everything was okay. There were a lot of obstacles against us, which he was always very chill about.
Yeah, I was like, it'll work itself out.
It'll work out. And I'm like, yeah, but like when I go across the border and they ask me why I got flagged into the White Room and like all kinds of stuff happened. It was like
What?
scary.
What's the White Room?
The White Room is where they take you,
Interrogation,
when you have to do like secondary screening. And it's very terrifying.
You seem threatening to Interpol.
Well, I didn't have a return ticket.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time that was a
That was
big
a red
red
flag.
Yeah.
And this was August of 2001. And
Before 9/11.
he went through my everything in my bag, pulled out cards, like went through my address book looking for stuff. Yeah, it was pretty
Wow.
Yeah.
but he let me go in the end.
Did he violate your person, like searching you?
No.
No.
You
I
wish.
He was actually cute. I remember him being cute.
I love America. Gee. Yeah, but we took it as it came. We figured it out. Brad went to school, a student visa, and that.
Yeah, I mean, we took it as it came, but like I had to build an entire life.
Right.
Which I
Yeah.
didn't kind of compute when we met because I just wanted to be with him. Now looking back on it, it was tough because I had nobody aside from him here until I started going to meetings here, and then I had my own community of
But that's
people,
a
which
tough
was
dynamic. It is. When
Yeah.
someone is the only
It
person
is.
you have. It doesn't usually work. It usually is too much pressure on both sides.
Wait, you
Yeah.
did what
It
before?
does. It's a lot of pressure on both people. You're right. And there was one moment, only one. It was that same summer, though, and I was with Sal, the same person I was with when we met, because obviously he knew the whole history, and we were having breakfast together. I thought, I don't know if I should let this continue because, I was worried about Brad because he's young. He has to discover who he is. He has to find his career. He has to have his own life. I don't want him to just be in the shadow of my life, like taking it all. Like it felt like too much pressure, like you were saying, on me. If I'm so much to him, if I'm everything, and I do break up with him in a few years, it'll be that much more awful. So maybe I should just rip the Band-Aid off now before we get in too deep.
But you expressed that to me. You said, and I remember you saying to me, if this is going to work out, you need to have your own independent life. And at 23 years old, somebody who was like raised on like 80s comedies and like 90s rom-coms, it was like,
What?
I was like, what do you mean? We're supposed to be intertwined together forever, like not let each other out of their sight. I'm like, independent life is not what I signed up for. I signed up for you complete me. In that moment, I remember feeling so devastated. My perception of it was that he was pulling away. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is bad.
And it wasn't a test. He really wanted you to have an independent life.
He was having an adult conversation with somebody who didn't really have the tools at that point to kind of process adult relationship information. But I think now looking back, it was the most important thing we've done in our relationship. And I think the most, thank God he said that early on, because it also really lit a fire under my ass to get out of the house in the Hollywood Hills and start meeting people and build my life and figure out what my future looked like.
So I think part of what I was doing maybe was kind of opening his eyes earlier than mine had been opened. Mine didn't open until they were 28. I was still a bellman when I was 28. So I'm actually having this conversation with him. Maybe you were 24 at the time. His birthday's in the summer. And Brad really, he took the note. Find your passion. You need to be able to figure it out. And then how do I turn that into a career? And then how do I turn that into a successful career? With that, you create your own life. That's what he did. He was always interested in fashion, and that was something that I encouraged, and I just was like, hey, I kind of noticed you get excited when you talk about this. You're very knowledgeable about this subject. This is clearly something you're passionate about. Follow that. That's always been my feeling. Like, whatever it is you're most interested in, most excited about, go towards that. That's what Brad did.
I think the difference also is, instead of having somebody that was thinking that and saying, figure it out, go, yeah, okay, if that's what you want to do, figure it out. Like, Gary was literally always by my side, helping me to achieve my dreams, always by my side. Me thinking that I could never get an internship at Vogue. And he said to me, well, where do you want to intern? intern. And I was like, well, Vogue is number one. He's like, well, start there. Always start at your number one thing and work your way down. And I was like, okay. And I got an internship at Vogue. Like, we figured it out.
They have offices here? Vogue
I went to New York.
Oh, you did go to New York.
I went to New York and I had the full Anna Wintour experience.
Wow.
And again, like, it was that thing where he was like, you'll just go for the summer and live your dream and figure it out. It was crazy.
It's not like it happened overnight, but
I also had to go back to school so that I could get a visa to stay here.
And it ended up working.
Which actually ended up being the perfect thing for me, because I had been through college in Canada, but I had also been using all through college and put on academic probation.
And it was an acting college.
It was an acting college. And so going back to school here and doing it sober and doing it with, sober principles was that I always sat at the front of the class. I always asked questions when I needed help. I always added to in the class and graduated with honors. There was one point at one of my internships where actually two places offered me jobs before I finished school. There was one that I wanted to take, and Gary was like, absolutely not. Like, you have to finish your degree. Like, you have to finish. You'll regret it for the rest of your life. And I'm so glad that I finished it, because I was already kind of a mature student, in air quotes, because I was 27 years old and graduating from college, and everybody was so much younger than me. But I had my group of girlfriends, and it was I learned so much at school, and again, it was like the stuff I used to watch in movies, and then me like driving to USC. I was like, when I was in theater school in Canada, we went to school in flannel pajama pants, a hoodie, and a parka, and that was it. And then I'm getting to USC, and like the girls all have their hair blown out and their nails done and outfits and designer bags. I'm like, this is Clueless. I'm in Clueless. Like, it's so
I'm
crazy.
with Elle Woods here.
Yeah, it was so wild.
And that was your moment in time to actually have that experience, because as soon as it ended,
right out of college, I started like right into my career,
and then working, and then it was funny. And well, you know how it is too. There was so much of like when like Brad had been with me everywhere, parties. It's like when you're the person that's the more.
I was the sitcom wife.
Yeah, but I was the person that had the career that the outside world might see as something that people who care about things like that would pay more attention to. So therefore, I'm always in the position of saying, you remember Brad, even though years have gone by and Brad's everywhere, because Brad was just my handsome partner to other people. Meanwhile, years go by and we're together, and suddenly Brad gets a job with Rachel Zoe as her assistant, and he becomes on her reality show on Bravo, the Rachel Zoe Project, which became a big pop culture moment. And Brad was the breakout star on the show. And it all happened kind of overnight. So I started going into meetings, and as the show, was airing, this was before streaming, obviously, people would be like, oh my God, Gary, get in here. Your boyfriend is Brad? Oh my God. The people would come in and I was like, what's happening? I would come home and I would tell Brad, I'm like, Brad. And it was fun at the beginning. And then I was like, okay, enough. I'm like, what's happening? I would have to get Brad on the phone. I'd be like, can we talk to Brad? And I'm like, you've met Brad before, by the way. You didn't care before. Yeah, it was so funny to have this kind of shift. I used to say it was like a gay star is born. It was like suddenly Brad
I was like, you want me to go after my passion?
Okay.
I'll go after my passion.
I was like, oh dear. Now you're getting the reservation, But it was so funny, and I was so proud of him. And then the world, people watching Bravo, but it was, not an insignificant amount of pop culture. He changed the way, people dressed in bow ties at that period of time because of Brad. He influenced fashion, which was so funny. And we recently rewatched the show for the very first time since it aired 17 years ago, because it's on Peacock. And it was so sweet to see this and to go through this period of time again. But for me, I don't know if I've ever articulated it like this, it was like everybody else was getting to see what I knew.
Aww.
And I was literally how I felt. I was like, you're going to love him the way I love him. You see, now you're falling in love with him. And it's like, yes, you're seeing him through my eyes in a way. You're getting to know him. I was right. Like, his light was so big. That night I saw him in Greece for the first time, I literally would describe it as a light. This is even right after we met. So it wasn't like, once he became a celebrity. That's how I saw him. He had this light around him. And when it happened in a way so unexpected and organic and weird how life unfolds, and I was like, they're seeing the light. Anyway, that's
because
what I thought.
you are each other's.
Yeah, that's what I actually thought. I was like, they're seeing the light that I saw. And it made me so happy. And I still feel that way. All these years later, it was like watching that show again. I was like kind of like falling in love with you in a weird other way, because it was taking me back. I reminded myself, don't take the other person for granted. Don't take take this thing for granted, this living thing that has been in your house. You have to nurture it, take care of it, and remember, don't neglect it. And it reminded me of just how much we've been through and we've gone through, and how much I love you. And to see that again, it just made me feel like, oh, never take a moment of this for granted. So anyway, that's what.
Oh, I love you too.
God, you're getting teary.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if
teary.
I'm not getting teary, yeah, I am getting teary. But if you know what, if I can't get teary over talking about
Of course,
Brad, then
yeah.
I mean,
Right.
you know.
There's still moments now where, because of him being such a champion of me and in a way of us, of course, there's still moments like recently where I just look around and I'm like, holy crap, like how am I here? You know, like how do I get to be in this thing? I think it's unusual. And I think it's just the way that he loves me is by watching me, and we do for each other, is like watching each other achieve their dreams and being the person there going like, how can I help you to get there?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really
beautiful.
It
It's
really
helping
is a
each other
beautiful thing.
succeed. I'm also Brad's, biggest fan. I mean, I should be the person who wants him to succeed more than anybody else. And success can be defined in many different ways. Yeah, we've always been there for each other. When people don't support what somebody else wants to do, I'm like, that's always trouble.
Yeah.
It's like do you want to be in the plus column or the minus column? So I look like, are you adding or are you subtracting? We need to add to each other's lives. How do I help facilitate that in a way, even if it's just by emotional support, meant just supporting and being there for the other person, there, championing them. It works both ways, because years ago, Brad was the one who's like, you should go on Instagram, and I didn't want to. And he's like, you would do well on Instagram. You would be a hit. You would be great at Instagram. I promise you. And I'm like, ugh, it feels like so much work. I don't want to be bothered. But he was kind of like, just do it. I'm telling you, just do it. Do your thing. Do it on Instagram. And I did. And then I connected on it in a big way. And suddenly I became viral on Instagram and the Prince George memes. And through that, I actually got book contract to write books. Like, it opened up all these other doors that would not have opened without it. Brad saw that before I did,
amazing.
and had I not listened to him, I think there's a very conceivable that I would have never written 3 books in 5 years.
What I'm loving so much about all of this is
That sounded so like I learned 3 books and like I was like really that
Toot away,
opportunity
baby.
wouldn't happen.
What I'm feeling and hearing and seeing with you two is there is such a deep love and foundation, but you guys are both so much your authentic selves. You can go away and come back and be in love and trust and just have the biggest, best lives together, right?
And let's talk about, so once marriage became possible for you guys,
So 2015?
was that immediately exciting to you?
As soon as it became legal, it was like, I think, we didn't need it.
Right.
So
And-
how did the engagement go down? Like,
I proposed in Mykonos.
you took
yeah.
him to Mykonos?
We've gone many times back. We went back to Mykonos. I got a ring at a local jeweler in Greece, and I proposed there.
Did you know when you guys made the trip that you were going to propose
Did I
there?
know? I think I did.
Yeah, he proposed
It
at
was-
the hotel that we met at, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So were you completely surprised? Or did
I
you
was. I had no idea.
How did it go down? Tell us the details.
It wasn't that, it wasn't that precious, to be honest. I got a ring, and then I did get down on my knee because, why not? If you're doing the bit, do the bit. You know what I mean? Don't do it halfway. That was it. And then we didn't get married for till years after. Engaged for like 3 years. We still, again, we're married, so it didn't feel like we were in any kind of rush after I proposed. But we knew we were going to get married, and so we just...
We
What-
kind of
what
got married for our families.
and to have the experience.
Was it a big wedding?
No, it was small. We got married on a cruise ship by the captain, and just with my mom and dad, my sister, her husband, my 2 nieces, dad's mother, her partner, and his sister, and us.
The cruise was all about the wedding, yes?
No.
It was over Christmas and New Year's too, so we were gone for 2 weeks.
It was not.
And we all went together.
We did it over Christmas, though, so that the cruise wouldn't be all about the wedding.
Yeah, so we could-
that it was
you
about
could
like
right.
us being together for the holidays,
That's
and there
nice.
was a wedding in the middle of it.
And our 2 families, bringing them together for an extended period of time, which we'd never spent because, I'm from New York, Brad's from Canada, we live in LA.
Right.
Getting married, I think, I didn't feel like we needed to, but it also felt like so many people had worked so hard and done so much, the
Yeah.
gay people who'd worked and sacrificed and suffered and who didn't get to get married,
Right.
and who wanted to and didn't get to visit their loved one in the hospital, who,
Yeah.
when their partner died, were denied everything that they owned together in their homes, that were disowned by their families and were left alone. I think I kind of got married for them. It was a way to honor that, and for what people had worked so hard for. And it's to say, I am going to, I want to honor that by now getting married to the person that, is my partner that I love. That's how I felt.
The night that it was announced, weren't we at a table with like 5 generations?
Yeah, we were. We were at it was Gay Pride in New York, and we were there with Ian McKellen and Derek Jacobi, who were the honorees of the Gay Pride Parade in New York. So it was a very celebratory.
And James and me and you.
And it was
all different generations.
Yeah, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, right up there. So it was kind of beautiful kind of see that all crystallize in a celebratory way.
The arc of justice moving forward. Yeah. That's amazing. So the wedding was on the cruise, so that was kind of the honeymoon too.
Correct. Yeah, it was just fun. We took
a honeymoon too, though.
Yeah, we'll take any opportunity for creating like some grand, you always have to have another trip, cooking.
But the other thing that is important to know is that family is so important to both of us. And I think watching Gary, who has not missed a phone call to his parents on a Sunday in the 23 years that I've known him, no matter where we are in the world, there's either a text to explain why the call won't be happening. It's usually logistical, like a time zone or wherever we are in the world. But he always makes the phone call, always.
Amazing.
There's always a phone call to John and Felicia. And it's happened every single Sunday, basically, since we've been together. And watching that has made me, I think, like a better son and a better brother. And he has helped me so much with doing with my family, because we've gone on so many trips together now. And I try to create things and experiences for my family that we can all do together, that I think has been my way, especially towards my mom, allowing my mom to kind of get to experience some of the things I get to experience. And it's been
getting to share that with our families.
It's been really nice.
Great.
Even
it's
just
such a gift.
We spent Christmas together at his parents' house. It's just nice, to I grew up watching a lot of theater, and I was doing a lot of theater, and my parents would get us tickets and take us to the big shows in Toronto, and now I get to bring my mom to New York and take her to Broadway, and getting to do those memorable things, I think, has really come from watching Gary and how important family is, and had a very complicated relationship with my dad. And Gary has always been in the corner, helping me try to stay in what's important, which is the connection with my dad.
It's amazing.
And my dad and I are doing great right now. It's just a beautiful miracle that the two of us are aware, my dad and I, that the right thing was to not walk away from each other.
Right.
Being able to experience him now, I think I would have been really missing out on something. And Gary's heard me so many times say, "This is it. Like, I'm not doing it anymore." And he's always listened and then helped me kind of keep the door open. And I'm so grateful for that.
Well, it is amazing to hear how you have both just helped each other to be your most amazing selves. Like, apart, you would have both been amazing, but together, like, definitely so much more.
I would have been a little less amazing.
Ditto. Me too.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, so much more than the sum total, as they say.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tara.
that's beautiful.
Thanks so much.
You clearly elevate each other.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your beautiful
Thank you for
story
having us.
today.
It was a real pleasure. We actually talked about stuff with you guys that we've never talked about before.
Aw.
Truly.
Well, we have one little portion of the program to get to before we let you go.
Yes, we do.
And we call this a romantic weekend in a bag. And it's just a big red toy bag full of all kinds of beautiful gifts for you.
Thank you. We love gifts.
That's so nice.
Thank you so much.
So in honor
that
of your
outfit.
book, I put in a box of Toy Air chocolates, which is little cute old-timey airplanes.
Oh, I love
How cute is that?
Yes.
Very cute.
And there's a little box of chocolate cars, too.
Oh,
so
I
you
love
have
that.
your traveling.
Thank you, Tara.
There's a couple of little characters in there, or you could just say those are like the Toy Shire Village people.
Yeah,
maybe.
those people.
There's a
Hilarious.
cowboy and a golfer.
He's always at like 9 o'clock. He gets up and like goes
I'm
into
always
the.
looking for a little bit of chocolate.
Always.
Well,
He's
there's
like,
the
there's gotta be
champagne
chocolate
truffles.
here
Those are the champagne
somewhere.
truffles made with Dom Perignon.
That's our
Wow,
signature
rich.
truffle.
Yes.
How chic. Thank
That
you.
is luxurious.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's the cowboy. He's got chocolates inside
Oh,
him.
he's got like a chocolate leg.
Yes, he does.
He's got
yeah,
a chocolate
That's
leg.
so great.
Yes, scented candles. And then this is the Judy Garland fragrance. And you may not want to wear it. You could just use it as a room spray, but that is to commemorate Judy Garland. And it's actually made with the Judy Garland rose, and it's fantastic.
Well, we love Judy. No surprise there.
Yeah, and then one more thing in there.
I'm so happy to have that.
It's my love and chocolate body butter. This I make myself, and
Yeah,
it
this
is
is extraordinary.
I mean, it's so pure you could actually eat it. The ingredients are all food grade. It is the most amazing stuff for your skin that you will ever have. It's actually
you.
mostly made with white chocolate.
Oh, fabulous.
So,
All right.
but no,
Gorgeous.
We'll
not
report
sticky.
back. Thank you for
Not
not
sticky. That is so nice. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
well, thank you guys so
Thanks,
much for
guys. This was an
sharing.
absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate
glad you guys did it. Well, we'll be right back with more For Love and Chocolate. This podcast is being brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland. Beverly Hills Toysher at 371 North Camden Drive in Beverly Hills has been serving up truffles, pralines, dipped fruits, marzipans, and our world-famous chocolate bars for over 40 years. So, next time you're in Beverly Hills, why don't you come by and visit or shop online at beverlyhillstoysher.com.
You know what might be my favorite shop in the whole world? The Cheese Store of Beverly Hills. Since 1967, the Cheese Store of Beverly Hills has been the premier destination for people who love gourmet food, wines, cheeses, and Epicurean delights from all around the world, and all in the charm and simplicity of an old world shop, which continues to this day in their gorgeous new location at 9705 South Santa Monica Boulevard, where the DeBartolomeo family carries on the tradition in their beautiful new store. Well, wasn't that fun?
I mean,
they were
really,
amazing.
They were as billed, fantastic.
And I love the serendipitousness, the
Serendipity? The serendipitedness.
yes,
Yeah.
it's like we hear this a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
It's just the miraculous, the sliding doors.
Yeah. I mean, the
Like-
chance of them actually seeing each other for the first time on that hot summer day in Mykonos, right?
And just
With
knowing. They both
Brad,
just knew.
he's walking
Yeah.
in this crowded, this tiny little cobblestone street with all of these shops and restaurants and cafes, and the fact that they caught each other's eyes and knew at that moment, I don't know what this is, but it's good.
It was written in the stars.
Yeah.
And just what an amazing journey they had of just supporting each
Oh,
other
yeah.
and loving each other in a way that they really, I mean, you know what? I don't mean to like totally like get ooey gooey over these two guys,
Yeah.
but let me just say, we haven't had a lot of couples in here that just had so much appreciation for each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I really got from them. It's just this, not only a deep love, but a really deep appreciation.
Yeah,
you know?
and that the moment where Gary had basically said to Brad, "I think you've got to find your own way," and kind of willing to lose him, knowing that he loved him so much. But if Brad wasn't going to find his own way, they couldn't really have a whole life together. And it was kind of this risk of, I just need you to find yourself, and Brad just taking it on, saying, "Wow, I'm scared," but.
But it didn't. But it wasn't just him saying you need to find yourself. It was him saying, "I want to hold your hand while you find yourself."
Yeah.
And that was the thing that really struck me.
Yeah.
Just how deeply they're connected and how they have used that connection to just become their most brilliant selves.
Yeah, they're really the wind beneath each other's wings,
Yeah,
aren't they?
really something.
Yeah, well, we're so glad that they were able to join us, and we're so glad that you joined us. And guess what? We're going to do it again next week. But until then, say goodbye, Mrs. Truffles.
Aw, goodbye, Mrs. Truffles.
This show is brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland, home of the world's first and finest champagne truffles. Join us next week for more adventures in everlasting love.